Assalamu alaikum. How are you students? Fine. Today is a lecture day. Note, I really like this day. Not just for me that my lecture is there. For all that in this day we learn a lot of things and we come to know we get more ideas. We get more ideas and we see new faces. So anybody wants to share anything, so you can. Nothing? Yes? So then let me share and let me ask something. So you are so boring? Yes, Mr. Yasin.
Yes,
do
ma'am.
you want to worry about it? Do you worry about your future?
Yes, absolutely I am.
Why?
Just because my future, my whole inheritance depends on it. If I'm a successful person, my whole inheritance, upcoming generation will be in a fine and secure generation.
How
So I
can
have
you
to
be
be.
successful?
To be successful, I have goals. To achieve that goals, I have to work hard. But nowadays, as smart works is also included. So for that's why I
What is
have
your goal?
my goal is to be on a very better, better designation, to have some better things.
Fine, good goal.
Better earning.
Yes, Mr. Shoaib. Do you worry about your future?
Yeah, of course, it's confirmed that I'm worried about it.
Why?
Because life never stays on a one level. It has some levels ups and some levels downs. So always we are supposed to face too many difficulties. After that, we have to achieve our goals. So that I am worried that if I get fail in that achievements, in that troubles, so I won't be able to have a good life.
Yeah, good life. Yes, Zen. Do you worry about your future?
Yes, of course, ma'am. Not only me, all Pakistanis are worried about their future. Because in Pakistan, inflation is too much and there is no job for a young generation. That's why everyone is worried about. Not only me, it's a common issue of all Pakistani.
So those who say that no, we should not worry about, no one said yes. Yes, Sabir.
To be honest, I am saying that we should not worry about our
Absolutely
future,
correct. Yeah.
because right now we are living in a country like Pakistan where your goals, whatever you aim for, you will not achieve that. So that's why in Pakistan your rights are swallowed by someone else. We should not worry about our goals. We should worry about money or whatever we have. So we should worry about them, the future, not the present, not the future.
Yeah, we should not worry about the future. When you are worried about the future, that is because of you are lack of confidence, you are lack of imagination, and live today, give your complete attention today, enjoy today, this day and this moment, this time will never come. Yeah, it may be same, but not at all. When you are worried about the future, that is, it has not come yet. And don't worry about the past, it already happened. And don't worry about the present, everything will happen for a reason. And none of us like difficulties. If we had a choice, we would go through them. And don't forget this thing that challenges prepare yourself and prepare you very much good person. And challenges must be there in your life, for this you can be successful in your life. And keep in your mind that your life is full of fulfillment and full of happiness. And second thing is that we are not here living to get, but living to give, to serve your life. So time is already too short. We should start our lecture. My lecture is about the rights of women in Islam. The world laughs when she cries. It ignores her when she tries something nice. The world humiliates her so she simply smiles. And when it needs her guide, so she leads them for a mile. Let's treat her as a friend, not as a few. Thus, in the Islamic tradition, a woman has an independent identity. She is a responsible being in her own right and carries the burden of her moral and spiritual obligations. Women have as much right as men do. Women in Islam. inferior or unequal of many people. There is the one word that come to mind when thinking about women in Islam. Question mark. These stereotypes confuse Islam with culture practices and fail to recognize that Islam has empowered women by the most progressive rights since the 7th century. In Islam, women are not inferior, women are not unequal, they both are equal, their rights are equal. The brochure presents the actual teachings of Islam regarding the rules, rights, responsibilities with a special focus on gender equality. At a time when female children were buried alive in Arab, women were considered transferable in property, women were considered inferior to men, so Islam came. And Islam honored women by elevating them, respecting them, protecting them with unprecedented rights. Islam gave women the right to education, to marry someone of their choice and retain to their identity. After marriage, to divorce, to work, to seek and to sell property, to own. God revealed the message of Islam to Prophet peace be upon him, directly addresses women. And repeatedly throughout the Quran, Islam proclaims that all human beings, whether men and women, they both are born in a pure life, in a pure status, in a pure family. And Islam further confirms that all human beings, whether men and women, they both are equal in the sight of God. So Mr. Imran, question is there. Islam says they both are equal in the sight of God. So then why our society, they considered women inferior to men?
The reason our society consider is that we did not understand Islam, what actually Islam is. We follow Islam just for the name, not to follow means what actually Islam is. We follow Islam for our profit, we follow Islam for our interest. That's why our society has forgotten what actually Islam is.
Yes, Munir?
Yes, miss, pardon me, sir. Question.
Islam says they both are equal, men and women, they both are equal in the sight of God. Then why our society, they considered women inferior to men?
Because lack of education. If education also tells us that men and women are equal in every field of life, then those who are neglecting them as a human being, they are not educated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Lack of education is the main reason. Thank you.
Yes, anybody else? Yes, Yasin.
This is the problem of our society, that they don't have knowledge and they don't have sense.
Yeah.
That's why they consider women as a low degree.
Inferior
They
to
consider
men.
them. That's why.
But ma'am, actually, I think so that women are always superior in our society. If they aren't superior, then as we have example of yours, you are now giving a lecture about the rights of women. So you are a superior. There is no dominancy of a man over a woman. Maybe I'm wrong. But
Absolutely correct. Now come to financial responsibility. In Islam, women are not obligated to earn or spend any money on housing, food or general expenses. If she is married, so her husband fully support her in financially, and if she is not married, so that belong to her father, brother or uncle. She also has the right to work and she earns as she wishes, and it's depend on her that whether she likes give money to her husband or any family member. But Hazrat Khadija radhiyallahu ta'ala anha, the wife of Prophet peace be upon him, she spent her wealth. She was one of the most successful businesswomen of Misa. She spent her wealth to support her husband in the cause of Islam. If they were supporting, so why not we? If they were helping, so why not we? And now third point is it modesty. Modesty means parda or hijab. In an environment, women have to do parda. If she is working or she is working shoulder to shoulder man and she is going somewhere, so she has to wear a abaya and she has to hide her complete face. You will think that always she is supporting woman. Being a woman, I will support, but where woman is wrong, over there I will take an objection, over there I will speak, but where man is wrong, over there I will also raise my voice. Islam gives us that much rights, responsibilities, value and respect. So whatever our Islam says to us, we have to follow. So I have seen in many bazaars out on the road that girls, they don't care about their parda. So my message is there that parda is the beauty of a girl and the iman and faith. So they have to wear a abaya and they have to fulfill whatever Islam gives us respect. So now whatever our Islam says to us, we have to follow. Islam has an extensive tradition of protecting the civil liberties of women under the protections of Islamic law. Men and women, they both are required to complete all the duties of a Muslim worshipper and completion of all the Muslim tradition. The patrons of women employment is a very throughout a Muslim world. In 2005, Pakistani women were economically active, either employed or unemployed, but available to finish labor. Women are allowed to work in Islam subject to certain conditions and acceptable circumstances if a woman is financially needs and her employment does not cause her to neglect her important rules, 4 rules, as a mother, as a daughter, as a sister, as a wife. Wherever she is, she does not forget these four rules. Now let's discuss the legal rights of women in Islam. Legally, men and women are equal. For crime they commit, they get the same punishment. For example, if a man kills a woman, so man is put to death. If a woman kills the man, so she is put to death, according to law of Esas in Surah Baqarah. And furthermore, if any organ of the body is damaged, irrespective, that is the eye, the ear, the hand, irrespective, that is men and women, punishment is the same and they will get same punishment. Let's suppose if someone murders someone and family member, they want to forgive that person, but taking money, it does not make difference who is forgiving, whether, because they are equal. And if they are equal and they don't think that we are taking money, it does not make difference. And Quran says in Surah Nur, ask for fornicator, whether it is men and women, give each 100 lashes as a punishment. That means if someone does fornication, so give punishment 80 lashes. And legally, because they are same. And if we see the condition of our now in Pakistan, in Islam, Islam gives women the right to be a witness. Most of religion, most of countries, they were thinking, they were discussing, they were confused that should they give women the right to be a witness. But Islam gave women the right to be a witness in the absence of men. And I don't know in any law. In today's world, it is so common. Men and women, they both are fighting, they both are abusing, they both are killing, and some of them called prostitute. In Islamic country, the Islamic state of law, if a man does such a thing to a woman, so cause of prostitute, that man will be punished. Who is calling? I don't know in any law in the world, whether it be America, whether it be UK, whether it be Canada, whether it be India, where you take an objection, woman goes to the court and says, that man is abusing me. What can you do? What can you do in any case where she goes and says? But in Islamic country, as a punishment, that man will be punished who is abusing 80 lashes as a punishment. If this Islamic law come all over the world, so men will think million times before abusing the woman, not 100 times, not 1,000 times, million times he will think if this law come. This is how much Islam protects the woman, and this is Islam who give us rights, who give us value, who give us respect. And we are in second condition. If we see the second right is there, that in Islam, women rights are subjugated and protected. Women rights, according to the Oxford Dictionary, those rights that promote a position of social and legal equality of a man within men. I am not too much concerned about the modern ideas and categorical statements made by scientists that how life will lead by a woman. How can life lead a woman? Why we will listen to them? Unexperienced. If Islam says to us, follow these rules, so we are following. Who are they to say? I am going to base my conclusion that those rights which we are following, which we are considering as they both are equal, which has been proved by in facts And I'm going to conclude my base that no, they are wrong. Why we will listen to scientists? They are non-Muslim. And this I know that they all are learning from Quran and from Islam. This I know. And if we go back, history analyze. When we read the history of a Babylonian civilization, at that time, if a man committed a murder, so instead of him, he will punish his wife. When we read the history of a Greek civilization, they had a person by the name of Andorra, who was a woman, who was the cause of evil and misfortune. So she was, at that time, women have very bad status. When we read the history of a Roman civilization, in Roman society, when their women reached to speak with men, so they killed their wives. When we read the history of a Egyptian civilization, they considered women as the sign of a devil. When we read the history of a Arab civilization, before revelation of Islam, before revelation of Quran, when a female children she took a birth, she was buried alive. But after the teachings of Prophet, peace be upon him, after the revelation of Islam, women got due rights, women got value. And previous month I don't know which month was there, 7 days of a daughter, father shooted her. Not 7 months, not 7 years, not 7 weeks, 7 days. What was her mistake? What was her fault? Her mistake was that she was a girl. Her mistake was that she would be woman. If you are not able to carry a daughter, so no need to took birth. So and I was too much agree with his justice. But justice did with him. I am too much happy, and I agree with that. It will be there in our country. Why? What woman did? You are born by a woman, and I hope that you will not disrespect her. And in education rights of women in Islam, first guidance revealed to Allah Almighty, it was not to offer, it was not to fast, it was not to give charity, but it was to ikra, it was to read, it was to proclaim, it was to repeat. It was both of them, whether men and women, it was both of them that they should get education. If we read the history of women in Islam, we have several women who were scholars in Islam. The best example I can give you, the Aisha bint Bakr, the wife of Prophet, peace be upon him. She was very, very intelligent, and after the Muhammad's death, she guided all Sahabas, she guided all scholars, all Khulafai Rashideen. She gave education to them, and she was the scholars of scholars. And I have seen that in rural areas, our girls are sitting at home. They were using for just domestic work. Why? Their right to. Their parents are not allowing them. Their right to give education, especially for daughters, because they will be going to sister-in-law, but they will do in husband home. If they don't have any education, they don't have knowledge, what will they do? So I raise up my voice not so I can shout, but so that without a voice can be heard. We cannot succeed when half of us are held back. Let's discuss the political rights of women in Islam. Quran says in Surah Tawbah, believing men and believing women are supported to help one another, and not just socially but politically. Women can make political law as well. And in Islam, women were going to battle for aids to the soldier. They were giving to water for soldier. So we should take part in political as well. And now, at the last, I want to say that woman, you can feel her innocent in the form of a daughter. You can feel her care in the form of a sister. You can feel her warmth in the form of a friend. You can feel her divinity in the form of a mother. You can feel her dedication in the form of a wife. And you can feel her passion in the form of a beloved. So respect your sisters, respect your mothers, and respect your now your daughters are not there now. So respect your sisters and mothers. It is enough for us, and give respect to them. It was my lecture. My lecture was not to entertain you. It was to make you understand that what human rights are there, why they are living. So I hope you understood, and thank you for your interest.